Hey, what's poppin', fellas? It's your boy Tacho here, and we are back for some more Fire Emblem Heroes. Alright, so today we are actually going to go ahead and do a Barracks showcase of all of my plus 10 units. I know this is a very requested video, so I hope you guys are up for it. I'm not actually sure how long this is going to take, because I do at the very least want to tell you guys the story of how I was able to plus 10 all of these units, as well as why I went for the plus 10. I don't really have that many plus 10s either, so maybe we can get this done in a reasonable amount of time. I don't know yet, but let's just go ahead and get right into it. And we are going to start from the top with the Kid Marth. So Kid Marth, at the time when he came out, I would have said he was the best 4-star unit in the game, and that was why I decided to go for the plus 10. I had a lot of orbs at the time because I was hoarding up for a big summoning session on a legendary Chrom banner. I really wanted to get Chrom to plus 10, but seeing the Kid Marth as a possible 4-star summon and seeing the odds of actually getting him to plus 10 in a reasonable amount of orbs was enough to entice me into going for it. And I was able to do it on live stream. A very fun live stream because we had some crazy summons on that one. And I believe it took me around 450-ish orbs to finish this guy off. So, not really the best of luck for a 4-star, but then all the other units we were able to pull on that banner, I would say, made up for it. And of course, he's a really good unit for arena mode, so that's why I wanted him. His weapon has Vantage and effective against armor and cavalry. And then you're free to give him stuff like Distant Counter and Special Spiral. So he's just really good. Like, it's really hard to argue with this guy. Okay, next up we have probably my favorite plus 10 in my whole barracks, Resplendent Ike. Now, I had him at plus 9 for a very long time, and the final copy that I needed to go for the plus 10 was actually the freebie we got from the Fate Pass. So as soon as he came out as Resplendent Ike, that was the last one I needed to get the plus 10. So that was pretty awesome, especially since they took him off the summoning pool, so odds were likely I was never going to get another copy of him anyway. So that is nice. I had to change his IVs with the Ivy Fruits because beforehand I was going plus attack. This was way before the existence of Close Call and Spurn and stuff. So there wasn't really much of a need for speed on this Ike, but now that's definitely changed. So I had to use the Ivy Fruits on him. But you guys already know the deal. Ike is one of my favorite characters in the whole series. Definitely my favorite lord by far. So I had to go ahead and plus 10 him. So pretty much all there is to say there. Alright, next up we've got Zihark. One of my favorite Tellius characters again. Anytime I play Path of Radiance, this is pretty much my sword master of choice. So I always loved using Zihark. And this was a relatively lucky plus 10 for me. It only took me about 250 orbs to finish him off. And I did it on a live stream as well. You know, in fact, at the end of this video, if people are interested in seeing some of those live stream plus 10 sessions, I will put a link to some of those videos at the end of this one, and also in the description of this video. So if you want to see some plus 10 shenanigans, then check it out. But anyways, Ninja Zihark, looking straight up like a Naruto character with that artwork. I like his art though, it's pretty good. So I had to get him to plus 10, and he's a very solid unit. He scores in the 180 bin as well, so he's very strong in arena mode. You can give him stuff like Distant Counter and Spurns, so he's good in Aether Raids as well. I just have a preference for using Ike in Aether Raids. So Zihark, with his superior scoring, I've taken to using him in arena mode mostly. Okay, next up we've got Eliwood, the most infamous 3-star and 4-star summon on the banners. I think he's probably the most common plus 10 unit in the game just because of how good he is. He stole his son's Refine, which is pretty messed up. He even uses it better than Roy too because his res stat is way better. And then the plus 10 defense you get from this weapon, it just works out a little bit better in his favor. So Eliwood, I mean, if you have a plus 10 Eliwood, then I don't really need to explain why I have a plus 10 Eliwood, because I'm sure you guys already know the deal. But him getting the Resplendent alt was what really put it over the top for me, and as soon as I got Resplendent Eliwood, I just had to go for the plus 10. Alright, we have Kaeya up next. So, Kaeya, I've been using Kaeya for a long time. Ever since the banner came out where we had red dual flying and green infantry dual. At that time, Arena was very competitive. So, I thought, why not? I might as well build a red flying unit and give them red dual flying. So, I ended up choosing Kaeya for that. I gave her distant counter as well, but I don't have it equipped at the moment. So, really, I just built her for arena mode specifically, and she was very good while she lasted, but you guys already know the deal. These dual skills are not enough to cut it if you're trying to stay in tier 21. So, unfortunately, I'm not really using Kaeya anymore, even though I have her at plus 10. Alright, next up, we've got Adult Tiki. Probably the most shafted unit in the game, unfortunate as it may be. They play favorites so hard with that young Tiki. She's got a million alts and even a resplendent, whereas Adult Tiki only has one alt. But I guess in her favor, the Summer Tiki is a melon goddess, so that's pretty good. And at the time, she was one of the day 1 dragon units, so a lot of people were going for the plus 10 on those dragon units back then, because Lightning Breath was very accessible, it had distant counter, and it was easy to just build the dragon units up and have them be your bait options. So I built up Tiki, I built up Naui, and I built up Fa, as we're going to see in just a moment. So I was on the hype train originally for the dragon units, pretty much like everybody else. Alright, now we have Summer Mikaya. This is the accidental plus 10 that I have. I think everyone has one of those where you ended up getting a plus 10 on a unit that you didn't even mean to. So, this happened on a legendary banner. I believe she was color sharing with Legendary Roy and Legendary Harid. And I wanted the fodder on that banner. I was aiming to get distant counters from Harid and bonus doubler from Roy. But instead what happened was I ended up going like 700 orbs deep on that stupid banner. And I pulled only Mikaya. I did not get a single copy of Roy or Harid. Only Mikaya's. And I got enough of her that she ended up being plus 9. And the final copy I got to go for the plus 10 was the Forma option. So that's why I decided to get her as a Forma. I had plus attack on her, but obviously the Forma Soul has neutral IVs, so I had to revert back. But eventually I will use the fruits on her to get plus attack back. It worked out pretty well though. I mean, I got all the skills I wanted. I got Rally Up Attack Plus. We got... Well, I was trying my best to get Ruptured Sky, but it never showed up. I got also Sturdy Impact, pretty good. I got Special Spiral, that was definitely the one that was worth losing my plus attack IVs. And then I got Joint Drive Attack also. So the Forma Soul ended up working out, and me getting her to plus 9 ended up working out somehow. She is a very good unit, of course, but I mean, this is why I don't suggest that people snipe on banners with shared focuses. Unless you want every last one of the units, it's really hard to guarantee you're going to get what you want. Alright, next up we've got Aversa. So Aversa, at the time when she came out, she was immediately on the top priority for me as a Grail project, because Aversa's Knight is still one of the coolest weapons in the game. She got a second life, I would say, when Pawns of Loki came out, because her HP is really good for a mage, and then, of course, Aversa's Knight debuffs very well in Pawns of Loki. So she's really useful for scoring and debuffing in that mode. So I'm glad that I have a plus 10 Aversa. And she's had a bunch of reruns at this point, so not too hard to get some copies of her if you want to go for the merges. But really, when she came out, I was blown away by how good her weapon was. And I think most people were as well. So that's why we went for the merges on her. Also, she's the only free-to-play mergeable red tome flyer in the game. So if you're interested in that, then Aversa is definitely your girl. Alright, now we have Effie. Effie was actually my very first plus 10 unit in the game, so shoutouts to Effie for holding it down for some time for me. Her refine, not a lot of people are a fan of this refine. It has the same once per turn shenanigans that Nemesis had, so a little bit of a thumbs down with that. It's still a very good refine though. And I went for the plus 10 on Effie because, of course, at the time, armored units were the best for arena mode. They scored very well, and you just had to have them pretty much. Man, times have sure changed, huh? Nowadays, we have duo skills and pair-up legendaries that just get to cheat their way into armor level BST without having the weaknesses of armored units. So arena mode is a complete free-for-all now, but back when it was dominated by armored type units, it wasn't that bad. So a bit of a bummer with that. Alright, next up we've got Cordelia. Another unit just like Resplendent Eliwood, where I only decided to go for the plus 10 because I had the Fey Pass. So Cordelia is a really good unit. Probably the best free-to-play Lance Flyer that we have. I know the best one is probably Tsubasa overall, but Cordelia is very good if you're looking for an offensive Lance Flyer. Her weapon is just a souped-up Brave Lance with more might, less of a speed penalty, and then Swift Sparrow too. So you're free to give her stuff like Dive Bomb and all these insane flyer skills that we have now. Also the rain skills. So Cordelia, definitely a worthy plus 10 project, and I do like her Resplendent artwork. It is a very nice one. Definitely better than her old artwork. Okay, now we have Naui. And like I said with Adult Tiki, these dragon units were so useful early on. Lightning Breath at the time, I would have argued, was the best refined weapon in the game. Having distant counter and then having multiple effects on top of it, like plus 5 HP, plus 4 to defense or res, and then adaptive damage on top of it. So you really couldn't go wrong with building up these dragon units. They were also very worthy in Aether raids for a while, up until the release of Thrassir, of course. So a little unfortunate there, but I'm sure most people have these dragon units built up. Alright, then we have Legendary Tiki. This was actually my very first legendary unit that I got to plus 10. So Legendary Tiki was holding it down for me very well in arena mode. She scored very high, and honestly she still does, even though we have some big score creep going on. She still scores pretty good for an old legendary hero. And she helped me get to a 2-year streak of maintaining the crowns. So I owe a lot to this slime ball from Dragon Quest here. So yeah, one of my, I would say, easier plus 10s. It wasn't that bad, even though it was on a legendary banner. I think it took me around 1,200-ish orbs to get her to plus 10. And in the process, I got a whole bunch of copies of Mikaya as well. So Mikaya is just like a byproduct of me trying to get plus 10s. I always end up getting a lot of merges on her. Alright, and here we go. This is probably my second favorite of my plus 10 units, behind only Resplendent Ike. So Brave Ike, this dude, if you had told me a month ago that he was about to get a Resplendent alt, I would have just thought you were lying to me. But man, this is probably the one instance where me just going for the plus 10 because he was my favorite actually ended up paying off. At the time that I got this guy to plus 10, which was on, I think it was Legendary Hector's original banner, where it was Ike, Myrrh, and Hector. I ended up getting both Ike and Myrrh to plus 10 on that banner, and then Hector up to like plus 8. So it was a very old investment, way before he had a refine and way before he was even a good unit. People just delegated him as steady breath fodder for the most part. But I had so many copies of him, I was like, I might as well just go for the merges and use him. So that's what I did. And man, once I saw this guy's refine the first time, I was like jumping off the walls. I was doing cartwheels. I was so ecstatic about it. One of the craziest refines ever. And it cemented him as one of the best tanks in the game. Alright, then we come to Ninja Hana. Definitely a very cute artwork that she's got. I like it. So I wanted to go for the plus 10 on her. Mainly because she had a speed super boon and also the 180 scoring, which is going to be helpful in pretty much all the modes. She's also very fast, so you can get away with using her as a spurn tank in Aether raids. So Ninja Hana, a very good unit. I would love to get some better skills on her too, like maybe Flashing Blade 4 and Odd Tempest, so I could do some crazy Gale Force shenanigans with the ninja weapons. I'd love to do the same thing to Zihark as well, but it's going to be a while before I can get fodder like that, so I'm going to have to wait. Okay, now we have Serger, the infamous Serger, the bane of everyone's existence when this guy came out. I was able to get him to plus 10 very easily. I think it only took me around like 450 to 500 orbs. I can't remember the exact number. But man, the 2-unit focus that this guy debuted on, I really wish they would do something like that again. It's so easy to get a plus 10 on those types of banners. So if they ever did a 2-unit focus one more time, I would love it. So Serger, when he came out, you guys already know he was broken. Sin Maris still holds up really well. 20 free damage is 20 free damage. Probably the most broken arena weapon in the entire game. And he was really useful both in Aether Raids and Arena when he came out. So, just the unit that I had to get. And together with him and Legendary Tiki, they helped me maintain the crowns for a very long time. Alright, next up we've got Legendary Hector. I already told you guys the story with Brave Vike. It was him, Myrrh, and Legendary Hector on that banner, and I was able to walk out of there like a boss with a whole bunch of merges on all of them. And Hector only got up to plus 8, but in the future, it didn't take me too long to get other copies of him and finally get the plus 10. So really good stuff there. He is my fire legendary hero at plus 10, so I use him for arena scoring pretty much. And Ostia's Pulse, still one of the best skills in the game. It's basically like Infantry Pulse, except for other movement types besides Infantry. So this Hector is just always going to be useful. Okay, Fa, there's not really much to say about Fa, honestly, other than the fact that I plus 10'd her really early on, just like everybody else. Those dragon units were so good early on, so might as well just plus 10 all of them. Alright, then we have Myrrh. And like I said, I got her to plus 10 with Ike and Hector. Pretty strong plus 10 project, honestly. She paid off more so in the future, because now I've been using her a lot for any of those, whatchamacallit, the limited battles where you can only use characters from a certain game. My Sacred Stones roster is very lacking, so if I didn't have this Myrrh at plus 10, I'd probably be in trouble. So I do appreciate that much. And she got a really nice refine that just turns her into a giant stat ball. So I'm very glad I got her to plus 10. Okay, now I feel like I have to talk about these two at the same time. So Wrath and Python, I actually ended up getting both of them to plus 10 on the very same day. And you guys know the story. I was hoarding feathers so much that I ended up having over 600k. And it was getting to the point that I really just needed to burn some of them off. So I decided to go for the plus 10 on these two. They're virtually the same unit, but if you ask me, the cavalry bow units are just a different class. You really should go ahead and plus 10 both of them, or every single one of them that we have access to. Same thing goes for Bride Luis and also Halloween Rolf, who I have at a lot of merges, but not quite plus 10. So that would be my advice. If you're looking for any merge project, just build the cavalry bow units. They're all really cheap. Okay, then we have Winter Jaffar. This was probably my favorite Grail project at the time. I would have said he was the best free-to-play merge project when he came out. He had the best BST for any ranged unit. And then being a dagger type, you could give him all these crazy skills like Broadleaf Fan or Pegasus Carrot, Sky Myogi, etc. All these really good weapons for arena mode. So he was really good for that. And he was also really good for Aether Raids as well. I have the Broadleaf Fan and Vantage combo on him. But eventually I had to stop using him because unfortunately he is green. And a lot of people run Eliwood and Kempf. So even with Broadleaf Fan and Vantage, I'm unable to get the one-shot on those red units. So I had to put Jaffar on the bench, sadly. But still, he's a pretty solid plus 10 merge project if you want to go for him. And last, but certainly not least, we have Mila. Honestly, I wasn't even trying to get the plus 10 on Mila on that banner. It was a live stream video, so I will link it in the description and at the end of this one, so you can check it out. But what happened was, I ended up winning a lottery ticket, a scratch off take 5, and I won $1,000. So I was like, hey, you know, we're going through some rough times right now with this pandemic, and I just wanted to do something a little bit fun, so I decided to live stream a big plus 10 summoning session. And the goal was actually to get the plus 10 on Legendary Leaf, but I ended up getting the plus 10 on Mila instead, because Mila really wanted to simp for me on that video. Not that it's a problem, Mila has helped me out quite a bit in Light Season, so I am very happy I got her to plus 10, but like I said, I was trying to go for Legendary Leaf instead. And that pretty much covers all of my plus 10s. I don't really have that many relative to like whales who have basically everything important at plus 10. So I'm going to leave it up to you guys in the comments section down below. Am I a whale or am I a dolphin? You tell me, and I'll leave it up to you. Also, let me know in the comments section, which unit do you have at plus 10 that is actually your favorite plus 10? I'm interested to see what kind of units you guys have been building. But anyways, that's going to wrap us up for my plus 10 box showcase. Hope you guys enjoyed it, and I hope this one didn't go on for too long. But this is your boy Tacho signing out. Thanks so much for watching the video, guys, and I will catch y'all again on the flip side.